Okay, so you can see my slides, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so welcome everyone to the Netfilter Mini workshop. I'm going to make a quick summary of the recent Netfilter updates. Since the last Netdev conference, as is usually done in every Netdev round. So basically, we have one release that is scheduled by today, which is including 268 commits, mostly fixes, and many new tests. There are plans to release a stable version for 1.06.1 to be announced, which is going to backport commits from the release that is going to be done today. And this is going to this release includes mostly fixes, and those fixes are related to restoring compatibility for set elements, dumps in versions lesser than 0.98 require print the print set element options after the key, and then I made myself a change to place the stateful expressions before, and that broke, and this is not restored in this release. So basically now it's a bit more flexible, so you can place either after the key the element options or the statements. Disallowing IF name less than 0 is just regular check. Many sanity checks like this are going to come in this release, which is mostly the goal. Mostly we have focus on improving quality and trying to reduce the amount of issues. So you will see in my report today more details about this. Um, there is a fix for peak proxy. Basically, it is omitting. It was omitting any port that was not a constant value. So the classic use of peak proxy in IP tables, which involves specifying in an IP address and also a port. In NF tables, you can use, as you probably know already, you can use maps and those maps in combination with the sim hash expression for symmetrical hash allows us to pick a port. And how does this work? It's basically we are matching on all TCP traffic, then the traffic is going to redirect traffic to the loopback to the local host to the device, and it's going to select the port based on the value of the sim hash modulus 2. So it's going to distribute traffic between port 8000 and 8010 for local traffic. Then we have mod fixes for listing meta hour. There is an issue with negative time offset. There is another issue with ranges that cross the day. So for time zones that were negative, this was not working, and also so now the listing is correct. And there was another issue if you specify a range that is crossing one day. The NF table needs to implicitly reverse this. For example, if you specify 10 p.m. to 2 a.m., now it's reversing the range, so the range remains in the same date. So that will result in basically the reverse, which is going to stay in the same way. By order convention with city meta statements are required basically because meta mark is its host byte order and it's 32 bits. And for example, when setting the meta mark based on the IP6 DSCP, this needs to be done in a way that byte order is converted to host byte order, otherwise the meta mark is not going to store the right value. You get the payload, you fetch the payload, then we only take the 16 bits that contain the IP6 DSCP value field, And this field only contains it only needs 6 bits. So we must, and then we have to do the byte order conversion, and then we shift. So basically, this is also related to this shift cannot be done without being in the right byte order. And then the lookup is performed, and then we set the mark. More fixes, we unbreak the creation of set comma or sets with the interval flag set on, which also broke. The restore the rule replace command. Basically, this command is allowing us to replace a rule in table T1 and change C1 with handle 3. And it breaks when vertex maps and maps were used. With the example before, we are basically defining a variable, which is IP block 4. It's 1.1.1.1, and then we use it from the set. And this was the reason why this was the evaluation. Basically, in this book, we were skipping the evaluation of the set when the set was created. So it was an evaluation bug. There was another bug related. In this slide, you can see that it is restoring addition of net device to flow table. It is possible to dynamically add and remove devices to the flow table. And these really require a bit of work to make it work. Now it was basically just a very trivial bug. The byte order convention in sets with concatenations and ranges was also needed. Basically, the overall idea is that you have to use the same byte order when you build a concatenation. In this example map with IP16, you have type of, and then that type of is defining a concatenation of 2 keys, which is IPsec in the reg ID field, and then the input interface name, and then based on that, we specify a verdict. And since this is using the pipa offset backend, which is a backend that allows us to use ranges and concatenations, the key needs to be all the components of every key in this tuple needs to be expressed in the same byte order. So NFT needs to generate byte code, which ensures that every key is in the same byte order. And in this case, the reg ID value needs to be placed in network byte order, in the host byte order. So we get all these fields in the right byte order. It's actually pipa that needs all the keys in network byte order in the concatenation. So we take the XFRM load, and then we swap the byte order, and then same thing with meta load, which is again in host byte order because it's a metadata that specifies the index, the interface index number, right? And then we take this byte order and we swap it, and then we perform lookup. Okay. So there has been a number of updates with fixes with JSON too. Just to mention one, support for chain multi-device was missing. That is another one that I'm going to specify, but very trivial bug fixes for JSON has been following up for this week. We have lots of fixes to address input sanitization. This is turning turn evaluation, that should be evaluation, not evaluation. So turn evaluation affect into error. Lorian Bestfeld, he made an extension for NF tables to use advanced fuzzy loop plus to basically take the test as input, the test we have as input, and then perform mutations on those tests. And those mutations are being injected into NFT to check how it shows. Basically the goal was to prove that either it was just bailing out with errors, or instead it was taking the input as correct. So no accession should be possible, no crashes should be possible also. And so we were evaluating crashes. We were finding crashes in the evaluation step and also in the parser that have been fixed. Also, AFL++ has trigger path where expressions could have no data type, which is not valid and should not proceed, and evaluation should basically simply reject that. And incompatible keys with data type in incompatible keys in with data types in defined sets, also out of bound memory access by fortifying the existing memory access, validating the buffer boundaries, and just to make sure that we have no crashes in that regard. I did not mention, but we've been combining AFL++ with Asan and also Valgrind to get all these to find all these bugs. And also some trivial mem leaks that were found in error paths. Just to make sure that NFT is fine also in that regard. We have fixed also monitor mode with set intervals and concatenations, which is basically what allows us to use pivot. It was crashing before this fix. TCP option has been also now fine with numbers, which is only symbols were allowed before this fix, and now numbers can be specified. Meta city mark statements are also now fixed and can be used with maps. This fix is also related to byte order issues. Note that VLAN ID is a field, and this field is stored in network byte order, and meta mark is also in host byte order. So basically, it was missing a byte order swap. So many byte orders byte order swap success in this really bad content. We have also we are validating the maximum size for a raw expression, which is limited to the total number of registers that we have, which is 212 bytes for this state. So it should be possible to increase the number of registers, and so we can install more information, more data into the registers in this concatenation that you can see there. What we have is an error for a concatenation that is quite long. It is taking 445 bytes, which is exceeding the maximum, which is using the UDP length field. We have also transport header offset, which is taking 512 bits because this is expressing bits, and also another different offset I'm taking, and then comparing these to a given value using an anonymous set, which is the UDP length and these transport header. Transport row expressions that refer to transport header offsets. And there is a small change to search for group RT mark and RT reference files, not only at etc IP route 2, but also at USR share IP route 2 and displays values via NFT describe. So this is just a packaging thing because basically users have these files already predefined in packages, which are stored in USR share IP route 2. And then if they want to, it seems on distributions, they would like to copy those files to etc IP route 2 and then manual them, update them, right? When a user wants to add more key values, more custom key values for groups, RT marks and RT realms, route realms. And so we first look at the user share and then etc IP route is also looked at. Actually, we look first for etc route 2, which is the custom definitions, and then otherwise we fall back to the definitions that are provided by the package. And NFT describe, which is an utility to show, can be used to see what values and what data type is used for a key. So you say NFT describe meta mark, to obtain the data type, right? So you can all now use it to have a look at meetup RT class ID, and now it's going to show what the symbolic constants that are defined in etc, IP route 2, RT realm. These are basically displaying the values that are stored in that file. We have many fixes to reject statements with ranges, like things like meta, might, set, and a range, which makes no sense. Basically, you have to specify one single value because in this case, the range, we will not know what value would be taken from such range. So all these single values are allowed, or an expression that gives us an assignment value via lookup to a set map. For auto-match flags instead in JSON are now supported. It's something that was missing. The time data tab is also printing 0 when time is 0, which was not displaying anything. And we've been speeding up listing tables by fetching tables only. But also we've been speeding up a situation that where the cat stores a generation ID which is current, so we don't have to go back to the kernel and fetch the cat again. And this is speeding up incremental updates. If there are no interference, if there is any interference, actually, if there is some other process that is updating the rule set, then your daemon program would need to fetch the cache again. But if that is not the case, then you should be fine, and incremental update should be really fast. We are skipping byte order conversions. Again, more byte order fixes when building concatenations with being used with set flags, with set intervals, with sets with ranges. Basically, in these concatenations you have an IPv4 address, Ethernet address, an INET protocol address, protocol field, and we have this interval flag, and so this set is going to store ranges, right, of this concatenation, and we have to make sure, and the team needs to make sure that all these fields are in network byte order, which is what the people posted backend in the kernel needs to represent the data. So what's going on here? We have INET protocol, which is the protocol field in the IP header, which is 8 bits. And in this case, no byte order conversion needs to be done, and it was being done. So this match was being triggered. So in case that there is any field in that is fetched from the packet header that is 8 bit, there should be 8 bit, no 8 byte field. This is not correct in the slide. Okay, so it should be 8 bit fields, and in this case, the byte order will not be done. Okay. So we are also honoring -t with list table and list set to speed up listing, which was not being regarded. So again, as I mentioned before, we've been speeding up the catch logic to reduce the amount of objects being fetched. If things either if we have enough, if we can fetch, if we are in the right generation of the rule set, or if what we need to and also to fetch only the objects that we need. We have to allow for host endian lookup. In this case, again, we have a concatenation which only contains host byte order keys that are the IPsec reg ID and the input interface index, and in this case we specify a constant value, you see, and that constant value is used for the lookup. So we are allowing now to specify constant values in the lookup, which is something that has been requested. We have better reporting now. There is a destroy command which is supported since kernel 6.3. The semantics of this command is basically to allow to destroy an object, either table, chain, rule, set, anything that we don't know if it already exists. So it is unconditionally destroying the set and the object, and there is better error reporting now for kernels like that, or before it was a bit confusing. So we also have fixed map to allow to use object preferences, object such as connection specific custom connection timeouts policies, connection tracking expectations, and connection tracking helpers. Um, we have now translate meters, which is a legacy representation, which is using dynamic sets. So if you still use meters, you are encouraged to upgrade to the new syntax. Otherwise, NFT is going to automatically display in your rule set a dynamic set, which is what this is for consistency with the meter. The meter statement was always a bit confusing to users because they did not really know for sure if the set infrastructure was being used, and it is indeed used. And it's this meter thing. It's just a dynamic set, which is a set which is allowing to get new entries being populated from the packet path. Um, in the rule there, in the example there, so you see that the meter for the traffic going matching destination port 800, with a size of 128 entries. It is adding one entry for each IP source address, and then it is setting a timeout and a rate limit. And so this is basically turning into an explicit set definition with a type IP4 address and the size of the set, and then the flags dynamic and timeout are being shown. And then from the rule, basically TCP destination port 80 traffic is going to update that map, that set whose name is M to add an entry for each IP4 address. Timeout is going to be 1 second, then it's going to rate limit the traffic for that little amount of time. This example it should be actually, instead of 1 second, it should be much larger than otherwise. With this rate limit, it's not going to work. So this example is just for to show an instance, but it should not be very useful. So you really, if this example, you better in bumpy timeout if it's associated to these elements. Otherwise, it is going to spike too early. And I guess you get the idea. So that's what we've done in user space with a lot of fixes, basically, lots of enhancements for the test infrastructure. We've been running this extension for that Florian made for NFT, that Florian Vestal made for NFT to basically inject input based on the test we have to make mutations and exercise all these paths to find bugs in the parser evaluation steps and just basically reject them when they're incorrect instead of crashing or showing a third, or maybe triggering path that really go to exercise and define behavior. So that's the goal, to basically to stabilize even further and tables in the error path. And also it helped us find some bugs in use cases that were actually making sense, not just garbage being injected as input. And then on kernel side, we have many fixes and a stable backport up to the oldest kernel that is being supported, which is 4.19. And so all kernel backport, all kernels, all stable kernels are getting backport fixes for NF tables, and we found many of these bugs with a parser that I wrote to exercise the control plane. It's a custom tailor process for an table, which I did not release yet, that I plan to release before end of this year, which is it has been very helpful. And it is basically allowing us to, it has helped me find a good number of books also in the kernel. It is helping set new updates to make sure they are correct. And it helped really find more subtle issues that were not detected. Also to improve sanitization, to detect lack of sanitization in the kernel, in the Cisco interface, in the Netling interface that NFA provide. So on the kernel, regarding kernel updates, we have since 6.6 that we last time talked in the previous Netdev conference. We have improvements for the People backend by Florian Westphal to integrate better with transactions, and we also have a path set to reduce the size of the transaction object, and specifically reduce the size of the set element transaction object to 96 bytes. So I mentioned that it should be possible to go even further, explore further shrinking. It's something to be yet done. And regarding the people improvements with transactions, the idea is to basically, instead of maintaining two copies, create the copy when an insertion or deletion is performed on the set. So it's on demand clone that is created instead of creating this from the commit step. And the improvement also help us speed up our path, by simply ditching the data structure, the copy of the data structure that we don't need, because basically the idea is that in Pipa4 we maintain one copy, so we have a current copy and a working copy and a shadow copy. The working copy is the one that is being inspected on the packet path, and then on the shadow copy we made updates that the transaction is bringing. So once we enter the commit phase, the old working copy is left out, and now the shadow copy becomes the working copy. And after Florian updates, we don't create a new clone for the next time. We remain with one single working copy, which is also good in terms of memory consumption. So, and next time we have an insertion or deletion via transaction, then we make the clone. So just in summary, many updates, as you could see, related to fixes, lots of efforts in the last, since the last Netdev conference to, sanitize user space, kernel, fixes have been backported stable. We are planning to have a new, a user space stable release, which is going to be based on 1.0.6 with backboards. And we are making, Florian has been making incrementally improvements, also target the transactions infrastructure, and also to improve people integration. So this is what we have. We are planning to make the release today of this new NFTable user space version, and that is all what I have for you.